Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. I know I've kind of had a couple of days off here and there in the past little while, but it's all for reasons. Basically, just prep stuff before I head down to Faithless Forum and some stuff to do with my mom. My mom had a bit of I guess she's bipolar and manic depressive, so she had a bit of an episode and she couldn't breathe. So I had to actually... I was going to do a random stream in lieu of the one that got moved earlier in the week, but unfortunately I got the call shortly after I was setting it up, and I had to go and help deal with her. She's fine, by the way. So everything's good. She just kind of was a little out of breath and in panic mode. So I went over there, and it was almost as if my showing up instantly cured her of her issue. So it's all good now, and we're going for dinner tomorrow night. I'm assuming, because I'll be gone on the 17th, so I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit of a birthday dinner for my sister, whose birthday's on the 16th. So yeah, anyways, welcome to the show, Jordan, also known as Reason2Doubt. And guys, I have links below to follow Jordan on Twitter, and also his Podbean and his YouTube channel. So definitely give it a check out. I actually did just subscribe to your YouTube today. So,
oh, thanks.
There you go. You're up one more.
Slowly but surely.
Exactly. Man, I wish I could drink. I'm going to break my rules and drink while I'm down at Faithless Forum, but not like crazy drink, but just have a few here and there. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, as I said, man, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
No, it's my pleasure. You know what I do here? I talk to people about their journeys away from their previous beliefs, whatever they might have been, and I kind of just take us on that journey and sort of tell us the ups and downs and how that affected you in your life and stuff with your friends and family and stuff like that.
So my name's Jordan, and I was raised as a Christian. I guess it'd probably be fair to say I was a fundamentalist Christian, though I wouldn't have called myself that at the time. It was sure. I think I've been Christian, or I was raised in that kind of tradition for as long as I can remember. My grandmother was very religious. Okay. So I was kind of just steeped in that lifestyle. But I'd say we were kind of like Easter and Christmas Christians when I was very little. And then when I got to be near middle school age, my mom, I'm not sure, I think maybe my grandmother moved in with us at that time, and that kind of pushed her in a more religious direction. We started going to church more regularly. My grandmother moved in with my mom, and then she started to get more religious, which meant I started to get more religious because you're 10, so what are you going to do?
Sure.
Yeah,
of course.
So about that time, we got pulled out of public school. We were pulled into homeschooling. The reason wasn't religious. It was my sister has some issues, and my mom thought she could take care of it better herself. But it kind of played into it was kind of all the pieces coming together because my mom was also a young earth creationist. And so about the time I would have really started learning like actual science, I instead got pulled out of the public school system.
Learned all about that 6,000-year-old earth, eh?
Right. So as I was growing up, I certainly learned from the big names. We watched videos from Ken Hovind and from...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But mostly what I remember are the textbooks. It was... Yeah, sorry. My grandmother's actually from Newfoundland.
Oh, beautiful. I had to buy there, eh?
Right. Though she was there when she moved to the U.S. before it was Canadian. So... she would get very offended if someone called her Canadian.
Wow.
I'm Canadian. I'm British, But
I got you.
Yeah. But anyway, so I remember I remember the textbooks clearly. They were all exploring creation with, and then insert subject. So it's like exploring creation with biology, exploring creation with chemistry, exploring creation with physics or whatever.
Ooh, I wonder what that chemistry would look like, because that's what I do. I'm a chemist.
I don't remember a ton of the details. We were in like a homeschooling community, not like we were in like a walled compound or anything, but just like the homeschoolers in the area all kind of hung out together and worked together. I was like on a homeschool softball team and stuff. And one of the families, both parents were doctors. I think one was a veterinarian and one was something else. They were also creationists. I'm not sure how that works, but I guess, got to be some. And so they were teaching us all of the scientific topics. So I remember having to memorize large swaths of the periodic table.
I have one right here if you need it.
Right. Well, that's like the thing now. Like when I got to college and I went to a chemistry lab, I was like, had all this periodic table in my brain. They're like, why? It's right there and there and there. Like, why would you,
You don't really need to memorize it.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
The little plaque I got, I could almost put it in my pocket and carry it around with me everywhere.
Right. It's on all surfaces. But in any case, so I was steeped in young earth creationism growing up. And, so that meant the Bible's literally true. Adam and Eve were the first humans, original sin, borderline Calvinist, I guess. But it was weird because we were so insulated in terms of our friend group that I didn't even really have a good concept that I was in the minority or it was unusual to be the way I was. Like, right. I think it's common now that young earth creationists have this feeling that like they're this embattled minority and holding off the, godless hordes, right?
We're everywhere.
Right. To just war on Christmas and everything.
Yeah.
But no, but at the time it's just kind of like everybody I knew thought this way. And I knew that evolution like was a thing that was taught in schools because obviously we demonized it, but like I never felt like I was like unusual because in my group I wasn't. And that I think is what kept my faith going all through high school was because I was never exposed to anything else. It was just kind of the way everyone was, Yeah.
It was your norm.
Right. And so there really wasn't any room for questioning. And it was, looking back, it's very interesting because I'm an inquisitive person. And so I would ask questions, like, well, what about, like you say, the second law precludes evolution. Why does it do that? Or, I'd ask these questions.
It precludes evolution?
Yeah. Have you not heard that one?
No, that's how does the second law of thermodynamics preclude evolution? This one I got to hear.
So I put on my creationist hat. So the second law, as everyone knows, says that all things tend towards disorder and decay. They get worse over time. That's what the second law says.
Right. Yep.
And so
more or less, it's a little bit more intricate than that, but sure.
Oh, well, not according to the other creationists, because then they go with the decay part. And they're like, oh, well, if everything is getting worse over time, how could you have things get more complex over time? Like, how could you have things go from simple to complex? That violates the second law of thermodynamics. Checkmate, atheists,
Yeah.
So that was the level of rigor that I was brought up with. But I was also not given the tools to like answer my questions, So like I would ask these questions. They'd be like, oh, go to Answers in Genesis. I'd go read it. It would sound okay. And
sounds all sciencey, right?
Right. And I just never took the next step, And that persisted.
You never thought to question some of the stuff that were put there and actually go to a scientific site and see what they say about it?
It never occurred to me that there was another source to go to. Like, it's not like I wasn't aware that scientists exist or anything like that.
Right.
But it was like, this is the answer. It accords with the Bible. So like that means it must be true.
Right.
It was kind of like short circuiting the logic at every step,
Right.
And for every question I asked, there was an answer and I didn't know any better. So it sounded like a good answer to me. And that was enough to satisfy me until the moment happened, I guess. So
the moment,
yeah. So if you
gotta wait, people, we're not there yet.
If you fast forward through, like I got married, joined the army, did some stuff.
Oh, by the way, happy veterans. Well, happy. Yeah. I don't know if that's the word to use, but
thank me for my service.
Exactly.
But yeah, so got deployed, came back. Marriage fell apart like it often does in that situation. So I'm now on my own.
3 months and mine fell apart. So
right. Mine was together for 6 very, very long years. But you know why divorce is so expensive, right? Because it's worth it.
Because it's worth it, yeah.
But anyway, so
I hope his new wife didn't see that.
I'm very happily married now. I tell her,
oh, that's awesome.
That she's my future second ex-wife, She's great. She doesn't watch this stuff anyway. So
actually, you say that the ex-wife thing, the second ex-wife. That's usually for a while there. I was using one like a pickup line, like, "Hey, how would you like to be my future ex-girlfriend?"
Yeah. So, you want to make a bad decision? Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Well, have I got news for you?
Just don't step on my Lego.
Yeah. So I guess this was probably about 10 years ago now. I was at work and I was talking to a coworker who was Christian. And we got on the topic of me being a young earth creationist, and I was giving all the very well-rehearsed answers I had to all of his, questions. And he didn't really have a lot of answers, but he was like, I've got a book you should read. You should read this book. And he gave me the next day, and I don't remember the guy's name, and I really should, because like he was fundamental and like drastically altering my life, but I don't know. But I do remember the book. The book was The Language of God by Francis Collins.
Okay.
Who's Christian geneticist, and his goal in the book was to convince Christians that there wasn't a conflict between evolution and Christianity, which is interesting since it ended up pushing me out of not single-handedly, but I read this book. And it was fascinating because it was answering a lot of the objections I had, but more importantly, it was arming me with questions that I never had before. Like, it gave me better questions to ask, right? And then I started asking these questions, and it was like I found this whole new world existed of like peer-reviewed literature and scientists and stuff. And that started about a year-long process of me getting better questions, looking for the answers, finding out that the answers didn't accord with what I thought was real, revising my worldview, and then moving on. Early on, I could kind of see where things were going, and I had a bit of a crisis, like, should I keep going with this? Is this what if it leads me away from my faith? What if I go to hell? That sort of thing. And I remember just basically taking a deep breath and deciding that if God is real, then the evidence will show it. And I'm just going to follow the evidence, and I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to base my beliefs on whatever the evidence is, and that'll get me the truth. Right. And so it was kind of like a year-long fighting retreat where it's like, okay, the Earth is clearly not 6,000 years old, turns out. So maybe I'm a theistic evolutionist. And I was like, well, no, actually, you don't need God for that either. Okay, let me take a step back.
All about chemistry, man.
Right. Take a step back. Okay, well, maybe, I'm an old Earth creationist. And I went back and back and back and back until, basically God was pushed to the beginning of there was just nowhere to go. And I just said, well, I guess I'm agnostic, I don't know. And then, or deist or something. And then a few months later, I was driving home from work, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but it just kind of struck me. It's like, wow, you know what? I don't believe in God. Guess I'm an atheist.
It's like a driving home epiphany kind of
right
thing.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because I can see the moment very clearly in my mind. I can picture the road. It's a road like a few hundred meters away from where I'm sitting right now, and like I can see my hands on the steering wheel and all that. I can I have it very firmly fixed in my mind, and I know for a fact that memory is false because I didn't live here when I deconverted. In fact, I didn't live at the last house. I lived like 2 houses ago. But for some reason, it's just interesting. I bring that up when people talk about like eyewitness accounts of like miracles and stuff. Like, well, this is like very important to my life. This is like what's a very important moment, and I don't remember it correctly. I only figured it out after the fact. Once I had this memory, and I was like retelling the story, and I was working the timeline back, I realized I'd implanted a false memory in my head. But anyway, that's how I became an atheist.
Well, it was a false memory, yes, in terms of location, but it was still a memory of something that actually happened. You just got all the mixed up location, that kind of thing.
The event itself happened. What I think happened is I did have the driving home from work thing, and I told the story. I was driving home from work, and at some point, my brain was like, driving home from work. I know where that is, and then threw the image into the memory too. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how the mind works. But yeah, that's my story. Now you asked like how it affected my life in terms of like, my relationships.
Exactly.
So I think my atheism didn't affect my relationships too much, mainly because I was recently divorced. And so the divorce was the moment when everyone I knew basically took a step back, because I was breaking from the fold. Again, I was in a very fundamentalist sect of Christianity. And so by leaving a marriage was not allowed.
Right.
And so the fact that I was willingly leaving in a marriage, it was a marriage that was abusive and not healthy for anyone involved, but that didn't matter because I'd made a promise, right?
Sure.
And so by breaking that promise, everyone that I grew up with, not every single person, but pretty much, unless they were blood related to me or I was in the military with them, everyone other than that basically said, we're not going to associate with you until you get right with God. And so I think the break with my friend group that would have happened at Deconversion happened a few months before, but it kind of primed me, I think. Not that I deconverted because I was divorced and angry with God. It wasn't anything like that, but it was kind of like I was going through big changes in my life. And so I think I was kind of just more open to changing since things were kind of already in flux,
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Basically, anyone who would have been angry at me getting deconverted had already left, so there was nobody left to get angry.
Well, now that all of this had taken place, are you still on good terms with your folks and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, my mom, I don't know when it happened, but she's an atheist too now. Everyone in my entire family, mom, brother, sister, everybody.
So you caught this thing and it spread through the whole family.
Right. I'm not sure who was patient zero. I don't know if I deconverted first or they did, but it's definitely matriculated through the whole group. One of my sisters is, I don't think she's
like that.
I don't think she's religious. She's into some kind of new age woo.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Crystal healing. And
right.
Pyramids
Yeah. So she's, whether or not she's an atheist, she's not a skeptic. But in any case,
some of them aren't. Don't worry, I know
the two are not synonymous.
That's right.
Yeah, and even my extended family, my aunt, is extremely religious, but she's always been super supportive. She's great. She doesn't care what my beliefs are as long as I'm happy and doing well. So
that's good. That's a good attitude to have.
Yeah. So I'd say I'm a lot more fortunate than a lot of atheists that I've talked to who aren't as lucky to have a family that's supportive like I was. I know it's the coming out as an atheist moment is very difficult for a lot of people.
It is. And actually I've had members of the LGBTQIA plus community on the show before that actually spoke that it was easier coming out as a member of that community than it was coming out as an atheist.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking and disappointing considering how poorly I know that can go with a lot of parents coming out as gay or trans or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's true. I think they take the atheist admission harder than they take the gender/sexual admission, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I go back to me as a fundamentalist, my mindset with that sort of stuff is if someone doesn't believe in God, someone I know and love, they're going to burn in hell for all eternity, right? That's important. So it would be extremely upsetting to me for someone that I cared about to wander away from the faith or to come out as an atheist, because what they'd be telling me in that moment is I'm choosing to separate from you and from God and go into this other direction where you can't follow, basically. So I understand
debauchery.
right. So I can, that's me. I became an atheist so I could live my monogamous heterosexual lifestyle.
Right? Yeah.
But I mean, I understand where they're coming from. Why it would be upsetting, but is cutting this person out of their life really helping? I don't understand what that does. If your goal is to bring this person back in the faith. Like, if you'd like for that to happen, don't you like need to be around them? You know,
you would think.
And if we're going to follow Christ and Christ's example, Christ had dinner with hookers. You know, I mean, you can have Thanksgiving with an atheist. You know,
that's what I'm hoping for when I'm down in Texas, because I'm going to be there till the 26th. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is the Faithless Forum doing like a Thanksgiving thing, like a?
No, because it's the 19th through the 21st, I believe.
Gotcha.
But I'm going to be down there from the 17th. I arrive in Austin at like 9:55 p.m. on the 17th. I couldn't get a flight without a layover, so it extended the flight time to like 6.5 hours or some shit. So, but I'll be there at 9:55 p.m. Central until I leave again on the 26th, which is the following Friday, and I leave something like in the afternoon, and I arrive back here in the evening. And I got a ride to the hotel. My very good friend Randolf is going to give me a lift to the hotel, and to the airport, and he's going to give me a lift back when I get back. So the only thing now is just to arrange a ride at that end, so I can go from there, or I could Uber it too, because I do have the app. Just Uber from the hotel or from the airport to the hotel too, if I can't find someone to come pick me up. But Thomas, aka Holy Kool-Aid, is working on it.
Oh, cool.
Cool to get me, because I'm a speaker at this one.
And it looks like awesome.
We might actually be doing a live interview. It's not confirmed, so don't hold me to it, but it'll probably happen, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I may be doing just an actual show from my hotel room with Atheist Jr., who's going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to come on the show as well. So he said we could do one while we're there. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. We could both be sitting in the same room and have the computer going and just do a show there, right? So
yeah,
that might be kind of cool to do that. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, I've known him for a little bit. So yeah. So, all right. So what urged you, I guess, to start up your podcast? Like, what was your intent behind it? Mike, you would be drunk. What was kind of like the drive behind your wanting to start the podcast?
So I run this podcast with a guy that I was in the Army with by the name of Jared. And while we were in the Army, he came in he was going to be a chaplain. He was pursuing his master's in divinity, and right at the end of it, very shortly after meeting me, he realized, you know what, this is all nonsense. I'm an atheist.
Look at you spreading it everywhere.
Well, I can't take credit for all of it. I kind of nudged him the last little bit, but he was already well on his way by the time he met me.
Keep up the good work. Spread the word, my friend. Spread the word.
Yeah, it was funny. During one of our training exercises, I was reading God is Not Great, and he was reading God is Great, and we kind of switched books. But yeah, him and I used to talk a lot about religion and philosophy and everything, both before and after he deconverted, kind of for an audience, like for the entertainment of the platoon, and people would throw in their own stuff. But as it was getting to the end of my career and I was getting ready to leave the Army, it was like, we should keep doing this, but where are we going to get people to listen to us? Why don't we start a podcast? So that was the idea. And the idea of the podcast for me is I'm a skeptic, right? In fact, I consider my skepticism more important to me than my atheism, because like if I found evidence that a God exists, I'd stop being an atheist, but I wouldn't stop being a skeptic.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So, but it was these skeptical tools were something that I was sorely lacking as a child. It was something I just wasn't provided with at all. And so I'm trying in my podcast and any debate I do, I'm trying to talk to me from like 20 years ago, trying to get to the people that are where I was so that I can help someone out of that mindset, like someone helped me out.
Great.
Yeah.
I think, I think that's a good reason to do that, because it could help some people. That's one of the reasons I do this, is so others out there who are having doubts or sitting on the fence can hear what people go through when they are sort of in that same mindset, and how that's how that goes for some folks, and also to show them with the after parties that there is a community here, and there's a lot of really good folks in the community that are there for you as well if you do need a shoulder to cry on or just someone to talk to or whatever, right? So that's why your show and the one I do here are important for stuff like that, just so that people know that there's nothing wrong with having doubts, because you can have doubts in all kinds of things, as you know, just it's just a way to help deal with these mindset.
And you should have doubts. Like if you're a thinking person that's questing and trying to grow, doubt is going to be a natural part of that.
Exactly.
And even if at the other end you don't necessarily change your mind just because you doubt it. It's a process you go through. I think anybody who looks back and believes the exact same things now as they did 15 years ago probably wasn't thinking very hard over the course of those 15 years, right? You know, so I think the world would be a better place if people became more comfortable with doubt. Like it has this stigma in some circles, like if you're doubting, like when I was doubting my faith, that was very scary to me because doubt had always been played up as the thing to be avoided. Like if you're doubting, hey, that happens, it's fine, but it's also not good. Like this is not a good thing that's happening, right?
Which is bullshit.
Right. Like, hey, doubting Thomas existed, so hey, doubting happens. But remember how Thomas was kind of chastised for doubting, so maybe you want to stop that, you know? And
they don't want you to doubt because that could lead you away from what they're trying to teach you.
Exactly. Like doubt leads to questions, and we can't have that, you know? So, whereas if you get to more thinking kind of what's educated, for lack of a better word, Christians and theists, like doubt is a part and parcel of their lifestyle, just like it is for me, you know? I think if you're afraid of doubt, regardless of where you are now, you know, you should. Getting more comfortable with it is only going to help you because it's just kind of a driver to truth.
This one's directed at you, I guess. Here, he mentioned my name. He's glad to hear that your experience wasn't a terrible one, because a lot of atheists are treated quite harshly by Christians once they leave, right? So, well, as we know, as I've heard many times on the show,
I mean, I got hate mail and stuff from people that I knew growing up. When they found out I deconverted, you know, by that point they weren't people that I was close to anymore. So it didn't bother me that much that this person that I was close to 5 years ago is like, oh, you're a heathen, you're going to hell. Like, cool.
Well, shock is a big motivator for unwarranted emotions like that cause people to write stuff like that. I'll guarantee you lots of them. Well, not guarantee. I would say there's a good chance that lots of them, a little after the fact, probably went, maybe that was a little harsh, you know, because emotions can make us do things that we think back on and go, holy fuck, I was being an idiot.
Yeah. And even
because someone you care about, right?
Even without the external thing, I mean, my deconversion story was not nearly as rancorous as a lot of people's were because I didn't have the external thing going on. But I mean, internally, it was very traumatizing, you know, because there was this part of me, like I was certain, I was so sure that I was right. Like my faith was core to my person. It was like deeply entwined with my self-conception. And to find something that was so fundamental to my character, to find out I was wrong about that was really hard. Now I think I'm better off for it. Like it really keeps me intellectually humble to know that like I can be wrong about something I was so sure on.
Oh, of course,
you know,
of course, yeah.
It's an experience that I wouldn't wish on someone, but I think a lot of people would benefit from. You know,
yeah. Well, I've often said that the one of my favorite expressions, anyways. I want to be told when I'm wrong because I don't want to be wrong. So
exactly, yeah. Like one of the best things about being a skeptic is that if I find out I'm wrong, I can just change my mind, and then like magic, I'm not wrong anymore. You know, it's if I'm wrong, I want to know it. Or like Dillahunty says, I want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. That's my goal. You know.
Yeah, that's a madism, I think.
Yeah. That's one I really like, and I understand like finding out you're wrong can be embarrassing. You know, like everyone likes to be right. You know, but like if people would put half the effort into figuring out what's true as they do into just like shoring themselves in the beliefs they're already in. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could name a few people I'd like to have thinking that way better. So Iron Charioteer, who did show up late. By the way, welcome, Iron Charioteer. And welcome everyone that's joined us recently. Wanted to know what you're studying. If you're studying it. I don't really...
in terms of school?
Yeah.
I'm a mechanical and nuclear engineer. I graduated...
Can you build a bomb?
No, not for many reasons. One of which being that getting a hold of weapons grade uranium or plutonium is really hard and very illegal.
Yes, it is.
But I graduated 3 years ago now, I think. So I'm not studying anything now. I do intend to go to grad school in the next few years. Cool. I'm kind of at a crossroads in my career. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. And so I basically I've got one big move left in me before I'm kind of stuck in, you know? And so I'm kind of in the next year or so, I think I'll see where that lands. And I might do another master's in nuclear energy because I think nuclear engineering is just the coolest thing ever. It's a very nerdy, dry subject, but it's super interesting to me.
Yeah, and it would be to me a little bit too, of course, being a chemist, right? Because chemistry is the foundation pretty much for all those sciences. So,
right.
What I've heard recently, and I can't fucking for the life of me because I'm old now and my brain doesn't work the way it used to. I can't remember where I heard this, but they're working and they have a viable method for fusion now. Yeah,
so I'm always skeptical when I hear about fusion.
Me too.
We have
especially cold fusion.
Yeah, well, that I mean, like, let's get fusion down first, guys. Like,
yeah, before we work on the less dangerous aspect of it. Yeah,
right. We have a phrase in the nuclear industry: fusion's always 15 years away and always will be. You know, but
it's like the opposite of like a Moore's law or something.
Right. It's just perpetually further away. Yeah. It's really hard to do, and I remember. I don't follow fusion too closely.
It can be done.
Sure, in theory. I mean, it's all about you have to overcome the Coulomb barrier, and you have to basically, so you have to keep it contained while you're doing that, and that's the trick: is keeping this highly energetic reaction. I mean, it has to be energetic. Keeping it contained, and usually you're doing it with gaseous substances, right? And gases want to, expand. So
it's bad. Yep.
The sun doesn't have that problem because it's really, really big. But having
lots of room there.
having a fusion reactor that is self-sustaining due to gravity is not feasible on a planet, unfortunately. So there is and I'm going to blank on the name. There is a big fusion experiment that's supposed to start up in the next couple years that's hoping to drive it forward a little bit more. But I mean, they haven't even cracked the puzzle of getting more energy out than they put in. So like commercial fusion is decades away for sure. I mean, it's something we should be pursuing, but it's not going to solve our problems today. We need a different energy source, you know.
Mikey says you'll never do it with that attitude. Speaking of which, I think Mikey should jump in here now.
I'm an engineer, and engineers are notoriously pessimistic. So,
as they should be, should be.
Well, I like to say optimistically pessimistic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sure, I'm pessimistic because we've come across failure so many times, but I'm optimistic that we will one day jump over that hurdle.
Maybe pessimistic is the wrong word. Realistic.
I was about to say they're stuck in this thing called reality,
right?
They just keep going only with ideas that would actually work.
Well, actually, you know,
I was gonna say, have you guys just telling the particles don't go past a certain point? Did you ask them nicely to just stay there?
You know, I didn't. I have not tried that.
Please stay together and don't go all over the place. Thank you. And then and then you hit the switch. I don't know how it works.
Well, see, doing fusion is not hard. Like getting fusion to happen, we can do that. Like there was a fusor in my college's lab that's like this big. Like it's getting fusion to happen. That's not a problem. It's getting fusion to happen energy efficiently. That's the problem.
Yes. Iron Charioteer wants to know how magnets work.
Well,
you got the strong force and you got the weak force.
Well,
magnets are straying into electricity because electromagnetism, and as we all know, electricity is magic. So,
right.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Right. Well, so the trick with electricity is you need to keep the blue smoke in the wires. That's the trick.
Where do you put all the rabbits in electricity? Where do all the rabbits go?
As a mechanical engineer, we were required to take a course in circuits. And that was the most difficult course I ever took because it just doesn't make any sense at all to me. Like, the only way I can conceptualize electricity is it's water that flows uphill. That's the only thing that like makes sense to me. It was like, I was a pretty good student. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but this is relevant. I got a 3.95 in college. Wow. And but in circuits, the professor would be like, do his thing. It's like, okay, and what's the voltage here? And everybody else's hands would go up. And I'm like, am I an idiot? Like,
oh no, I'm the dumb one.
Yeah, I was the dumb one. Yeah.
It's me this time.
All my fucking relatives lied to me, telling me I was a prodigy genius kid.
There's a lot of things that I could do with my life. Electrical engineering, not one of them. That is
and that is 100% true, because there's tons of topics where boom, I'm first hand up, but then there's those couple errors I'm like, I don't even know what that was. Was that Latin? Is he speaking Latin right now? Is that Greek? I don't even know what he said.
It was frustrating because like just kind of trying to look at it objectively, I'm looking at the equations. They're not that complicated of an equations. Like, it's not like I don't understand why I don't understand this.
Come on, you can do it, brain. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just try.
Just hold your brain at gunpoint. Work.
Yeah.
Potato. God damn it, brain. Go sit down somewhere.
Hey, don't laugh. Potatoes can conduct electricity.
They can. Yeah. And see, magic. Why does that work? Nobody knows.
It's the water content.
So I made a couple of notes while you guys were talking. Potato magic is just very funny to me right now. Do you remember any like really funny stuff from like those like bad Christian Science videos? I remember my mom showed me a Ray Comfort video like back in the day about woodpeckers and how they had to have been designed because their tongue is a certain length and their head is like triple. And I'm just like, yeah. Then like later on, I'm just like, oh, fucking dummy. What is wrong? Why would you even listen to that?
I do remember asking like why there aren't things like crocoducks, which if someone's not steeped in young earth creationism, I'll tell you, a crocoduck is a crocodile head on a duck body, which some of the dumber forms of young earth creationism, including past me, claim if evolution was true, you'd get transitional forms, but by transitional forms they mean literally half one thing, half another thing, like a chimera. The dumbest possible version of evolution.
That's why King Crocoduck uses that name for his channel.
What's your favorite flavor MRE?
Ooh.
What's your favorite, worst, best?
That's a tough one. Buffalo chicken. Buffalo chicken was really good.
I forget. Somebody else said that answer too last time I asked them that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're fucking talking about right now.
Meals ready to eat.
Yeah. In the Army, you're like field rations.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And some of them are awful, but buffalo chicken was good. The tuna was good because it's like a sun-kissed tuna packet. You can't screw that up, But my recommendation for anybody in the audience who might be going to the Army or whatever is get one of those spice wheels. You can get at the store. It's like a little wheel with like salt, pepper, but like cayenne and red pepper. You can put whatever spices you want in it. And like every MRE is improved with garlic and red pepper, So
you got to remix that bad boy.
That's right.
What else say there?
Student Dr. Ben says the ravioli is bomb.
Ravioli wasn't bad. Yeah, that's a good one. Usually the pasta ones were pretty decent.
Now, I know you're a skeptic, and I know you're a nuclear engineer. Can we please have a nuclear car?
Congrats, Eddie.
Yes. In fact, nuclear cars exist right now. They're called electrical cars, and they work on a grid powered by nuclear energy.
There you go.
Got me.
Yeah. It doesn't
You just need one of them Mr. Fusion things.
right. So
The Ford Fusion.
So while, I mean, who knows what they'll do in the future with miniaturization, right? But just thinking practically, there doesn't seem to be a huge advantage to miniaturizing a nuclear power source to a car. Like, why would you? Like, what? Because if you have an electrical car, has a good battery, has a charging station, like there doesn't seem to be any real drive. Maybe for military applications, so it just doesn't need to be refueled or something. But like,
I mean, like rovers are nuclear powered, but they're also on Mars,
right?
And they go 2 miles an hour,
right? So for like an RTG, a radio thermal isotope generator is technically nuclear powered, right? It's just a hunk of decaying plutonium, but that's not exactly feasible for like your minivan, you know?
No, come on, stick a plutonium rod in the fucking gas tank.
Kids, come on, it's time to go to soccer practice. Mom, that's not for 2 weeks. You heard me.
Yeah.
I'm blowing it.
Yeah.
We're blowing all the red lights several times.
We'll be fine as long as containment doesn't breach. You know?
Oh, then everyone will glow in the dark.
Mr. Fusion Back to the Future was awesome script writing. Yes. Because it was so us, like so human thing to do, right? Mr. Mm-hmm. Coffee, Mr. Fusion.
Yeah.
And what's this about here? We'll be traveling a hell of a lot more. Hopefully it doesn't hurt your show. Well, you can do your show on the road, pal.
Take this bitch on the road.
Wonders of modern technology.
Exactly.
The magic of uphill water smoke.
That's right. Correct.
and you guys kept saying the like for like the fusion, like the cold fusion stuff, and all I could think was like that sign that says free beer tomorrow.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just
cold beer tomorrow. Yeah.
Just flashing on in the neon sign up in the corner. It's coming.
100%. It's coming. I mean, and kind of on the same vein, you could say we have fusion power now. It's just solar power, you know, from the fusion reactor in the sky.
And that is actually a true. That's exactly what that is. It comes from fusion.
Just delayed a step.
Jordan, I'd like to get you in as an investor for my new project. I'm going to start making our first Dyson sphere, and I just need a little bit of upfront capital.
Just get one of them Kickstarter things going.
Yeah, make a Kickstarter. Yeah,
for the fucking Dyson sphere, because that's
FYI, you need to find more resources because there's not even close to being nearly enough resources.
We're gonna have to like pluck all of the asteroid belt. Mars, I need you to.
Yeah, Deimos. Nobody was using that moon anyway. You know,
Phobos is Phobos. Everybody knows Phobos is the cool one anyway.
Right.
Deimos, get out of here.
So tangent. I'm a board game geek too, and Terraforming Mars is one of my favorite board games. And my favorite card in that game is a card called Deimos Down, where you literally take the moon and throw it into Mars in order to heat up the planet.
Awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
I also have another venture that I might need some investing on, and you sound like just the guy. You sound smart, like a guy that really wants to make a buck.
Hey, you're an engineer.
So there's this asteroid belt that's full of these rare earth mineral asteroids that are like literally like a big block of palladium or platinum or just anything. You name it, it's out there.
What about adamantium?
That is that's also there, Neil. I'll take yours as cash, not check.
What?
Nothing. But what do you think like that do you think that could be like the next thing? Do you think that
don't make me angry, bub?
I'm sorry. Logan?
I think maybe not the next thing, but maybe the thing after the next thing. So
could it be a thing?
Yeah, certainly. It could certainly be a thing. Particularly so the trick with space is getting things into and out of orbit, or like moving them out of our gravity well is very expensive, you know?
Right.
And so if you were going to like mine this asteroid in order to bring it back to Earth and like build stuff here, That's going to be, well, getting it down is easy. Well, orbital mechanics are weird. You have to slow it down in order to get it to fall.
I don't.
It's actually more expensive from an energy standpoint to lower something's orbit to bring it into the sun than it is to shoot it out of the solar system. So in terms of like bringing resources to Earth, in order for that to be feasible, you'd need a much better method of space travel than we currently have. That's probably not going to an elevator to an asteroid.
You're an engineer. Come on. I need you to nanotube solve my problems where I have a structure that goes into space and I can just lower it down on a rope.
Now,
no.
That's to do stuff. That's to do stuff on Earth, though. But if we're going to spread through the solar system, if we start colonizing Mars or other places, then the math is very different. I mean, then it might be actually easier to bring an asteroid from the belt to Mars orbit rather than bringing it from Earth once we start. So it is a thing that's technically feasible. The problem is it's cheaper to do it here now, right? So why would we go to an asteroid belt? But that won't be the case always.
It's getting very hot here, so I'm trying to think of other places to do my stupid world-dominating experiments.
Yeah, well, once Earth becomes uninhabitable due to definitely not humans, then
the volcanoes. That's what it's doing.
Right. Then maybe. I mean, anything is feasible. It's just a matter: do you have enough time and resources to do it? Give me infinite time and resources, and I can mine you any asteroid you want.
Yep.
That's the answer I wanted to hear. That's the answer. I don't know. I didn't really have too many more questions. I just really want to nerd about space and nuclear and.
No worries.
Well,
I nerd about that shit too.
My senior design project was a white paper design of a
No, you don't.
Of a nuclear reactor that powered a MPDT thruster to go to Mars, like a plasma thruster, like an ion engine, basically.
Yeah.
So the ion engine, we found somebody else's design and kind of used it as a black box, but we designed a liquid metal fast breeder reactor to go in space. But the fun part of that project was we realized we needed to figure out if our design was actually going to work. And so I took that on. And so I had to learn orbital mechanics in like a month. And turns out rocket science is really hard, you guys. Like
them figuring out, hey, all these planets are going to align. We need to go ahead and send this probe now. And then they took like 4 to 6 months to get all the math worked out. That is astounding.
Yeah,
that is incredibly hard math.
It's mind-boggling. And the amount I was doing was assume all the planets' orbits are circular and they're all on a flat plane. And they're not, and they're definitely not, but it's close enough for a freshman senior design project. And even with that, it was tough. And it was also tough because the paper I found was written by physicists for physicists. And so they're like, okay, well, here's the thing. And then you do a bunch of steps and then you get to this. And I'm like, but what about this part? Yeah.
Elliptical orbits can kiss my ass.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be easier to just force the planets to go in circular orbits. Let's just
force them.
Yeah, solve that.
I don't have time for apogee and perigee. Calm down, everyone. Calm down.
Yeah.
Well, even our orbit isn't a perfect circle either.
No, I mean it's close-ish, but it's definitely not.
Yeah, but it definitely has some an elliptical.
Her got some curves.
Yeah. Axial tilt, the reason for the season.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I used to put on Christmas cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Hanukkah cards or something.
Did everyone get their bucklers, broad shields, and broadswords? I'm trying to think of sickles, scythes. The war on Christmas has begun.
Right.
And we need to be ready. Do you guys have your chainmail and your scale mail armor ready for the war on Christmas?
Oh, I got these, so we're good there.
Yeah, he's good. I actually like Christmas. I put up a tree with ornaments. We play the carols, and I'm talking some desanitize like atheist carols, like "Come All Ye Faithful," "Away in the Manger." Like I like, I'm all in on that stuff. I don't have to believe it to like the song.
No, of course not. It's more of a traditional thing, anyways, rather than
And I mean, the nativity story isn't even what's written in the Bible anyway, so it's like it doesn't matter.
It's more of a cultural thing, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sounds stupid. I don't celebrate Christmas anymore. There's a little part of me that still really likes Christmas music.
Hey, you can play Christmas music. No, this is a safe space. No judgment.
But if I hear "All I Want for Christmas" one more time, I'm gonna call Jordan. He's gonna teach me how to make a bomb, and this planet is donezo. I'm sick of this shit. Sorry, Mariah, I love you, but enough is enough.
Well, I have a strict prohibition on Christmas music outside of December 1st to December 31st. And part of the reason is I really like Christmas music, and I would like to continue liking Christmas music. And if they keep moving it back until we're playing Christmas music in July, I'm going to stop liking it,
My wife is on Christmas movie number 7. It is the 11th of November.
It's not even December yet.
But there is a growing trend because a lot of people love their Christmas time so much, just the more traditional festivities of it, not so much the religious aspect of it, the Santa Claus parts. November 1st through December 31st is their time to shine. Now, that's when they just start cranking them up.
I saw a great tweet that said, "The war on Christmas will continue until Christmas ends its illegal occupation of November."
That's fucking genius.
Yeah, because I thought Christmas music should actually, I think the start date should be the day after Thanksgiving, which is fine because everyone's got the day off of work that day. You put the lights up. It's like a whole thing. It's all around my neighborhood. It's been that way for years. I get that.
Totally.
Bruv, we just got done with Halloween. You can't go from spiders up there to little inflatable snowmans with LED lights in them the very next morning. I can't go.
Down the street, there's a house that still has this big creepy spider and this statue with a kid's head in his hand, and then across the street there's Frosty the Snowman. I'm like, what is going on?
Or should we just bow to our Tim Burton master and just start making Christmas? Making
Christmas. Yeah.
You could.
What's this?
If you went with a Halloween theme that was all Nightmare Before Christmas, you could just put it up and then just leave it up the whole time.
That's why he's got Neil.
Yep.
That's why he's an engineer.
That's why they pay me the big
brain. Big brain up there.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. There's your top holiday tip. Only do Nightmare Before Christmas decorations for Halloween, and you can leave them bitches up till March.
Let's not get carried away. Because it's almost going to be Easter at that point. Now we need Nightmare Before Easter.
Ooh, yes. They need to make another movie.
Well, they did have all those different trees. You saw the one with the turkey and the egg. And
Why didn't he go into another door in the next movie? I guess he learned his lesson.
There was no next movie.
I'm saying they should have made a next movie where he's just like, St. Patrick's Day? And then he kind of walks in and his large
gets jumped by leprechauns.
Yeah.
Just gets a Glasgow kiss as soon as he steps foot into St. Patrick Land. Just boom, headbutt right in the nose. Oh God, no.
Yeah, definitely a missed opportunity, Tim Burton. Call us.
Tim Burton, if you're watching this, please email Neil directly at 604-Atheist.
Hellbound, they had Christmas decorations up during the Halloween decorations as well at the Walmart I by me. So
same.
To be fair, to defend my retail brethren, we already knew that shipping was going to be kind of fucky this year. That shit shipped in June. We just been sitting on it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
they had to make sure that was going out.
Our Jared here wants to know how many times you've been around the sun. That's an interesting way to say, hey, man, how old are you?
36. I'm 36 years old.
36 solar rotations.
And because this is often surprising to people, my oldest daughter is 17. She'll be very close to an adult. So, yeah.
Start buying deadbolts.
Or bigger guns.
And sawed off shotguns.
Yeah.
I've
Waiting up
got
on the roof.
I've got the one gun. I'm good. It's quality, not quantity.
It's been my joke for 1,000 years that like when I have a daughter, I'm just gonna buy the oldest, rustiest gun ever, and just every day I'll just do a little
polishing,
just do a little polishing, a little oiling, just get it perfect. So then by the time that she
Jimmy, what are your plans with my daughter?
Come on in, Jimmy. Come on in. Have a seat. Oh, this one? This is Old Faithful. You'll know why. So what time you bringing my daughter home? I'm a mobster now. I don't know why. But
you suddenly joined the mob. Yeah.
In my later years, I joined the mafia. They accept me as their own. And so what time's my daughter going to be home? 8 what?
Here's
7:59.
What's this?
Nice.
What's this? There's drunkards everywhere. What's this? There's vomit on the stairs. And look, how the people pissing in the streets. What's this?
Because in the streets they don't seem to have a care. What's this?
This movie is basically already written.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Who knows how to draw? We're doing this. This is happening.
Well, I can draw a little bit, but they're mostly stick people.
Yeah, it's not me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep you on the short list, Neil. I'm gonna keep you on the short list.
On the short list. Okay. All right. Well, what do you say we wrap this up and get into an after party, and we can have some more people to jump in and make some fun.
Sounds good.
I will do
it. Jordan, my friend, thank you very much for joining me today and sharing your story with us, and all the other stuff that came afterwards as well, talking about the podcast and stuff. So do you have anything planned for your upcoming podcasts?
Well, so like I said, we're a podcast.
By the way, I'm available if you ever have guests.
We do occasionally. So we're a podcast on skepticism, and we basically do like one episode we do religious stuff, and then the next episode we'll do non-religious skepticism. So I think what we're going to do next is we're actually going to be talking about young earth creationism, which kind of ties into what I was talking to here. Because that kind of bridges both worlds, you know? Yeah. And so we cover everything from like alien abductions and Reiki to, theological claims and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Reiki is energy healing. So like if they put their hands like close but not touching and channel the Reiki through you.
The Reiki energy, yeah.
Yeah. But if you're a level 2 Reiki, you can do it at distance. So level 1 people have to do it right there, but if you're level 2, they can be like across the world, baby.
Hold on, there's level ups.
Oh yeah,
I'm in. I'm a
Reiki
lover.
If you want to know about it, you can go check out my podcast on it because we did an episode.
I'm gonna do it right now.
I also I highly recommend genetically modified skeptics video on that, where he went to a Reiki store or parlor, I guess you would call it, and went in there and had them do it to him, and the whole time he's kind of making faces at the camera like,
how'd it work? Did it work?
No.
Neil, hold on, buddy.
Ooh, I feel all tingly now. Oh, wait, that's just the force. Anyway.
I have no skin left on my hands. Damn you, Reiki! Claims another victim.
See you, Eddie. All right, so let's do that. Let's get into the after party. Before we do that, thanks to everyone in the chat on all the possible ways you can watch the show. Thanks for hanging out and for being here. I appreciate everyone always coming and checking out the show. Thanks to my amazing patrons. Without you guys, the show really is nothing. You are really the reason and the fuel to keep us moving and keep us going.
The cold fusion.
You are the fusion for the show.
The cold fusion.
You guys already know that Randolph and I are starting our show at some point, so I won't really go into too much with that. You've heard it before. Don't forget, though, you can learn more about it at www.truenorthtalk.ca. and check it out there. Also, myself and a bunch of other fantastic folks are the new hosts and co-hosts of the revamped, relaunched Nonprofits that airs at 3 p.m. Central on Sundays. It's between Talk Ethan and the Atheist Experience. Definitely head over and check out the show. It's quite good. And the last Saturday of every month, we also do a little thing called Atheist Drinking Out Loud, which myself and Andy and Seamus get together and just poke fun at ridiculous things. We always have a guest with us, so you never know when we'll come looking for you. There is a link to the after party in the description box, and there will also be a little link that'll pop up on your screen after the credits finish rolling and stuff like that. And speaking of credits, guys, like I always say at the end of these shows, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And thanks again for joining me today, Jordan. And we'll see you guys next time.